Today I will be making a soup to show you an example of what an anti-inflammatory soup could look like. You can put variations to it. Just make sure the ingredients that you're using have anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic inflammation causes diseases like diabetes and other things, arthritis. So we want to incorporate foods that have anti-inflammatory properties to our diet. So here I show you the foods I'll be using today. I have butternut squash. I have sweet potatoes, some lemon, garbanzo beans or chickpeas, garlic, onions, cauliflower. I'll be using olive oil for my oil. I have some broth that I made myself at home. I have turmeric and ginger. These are ones that I already prepped. If you want a video on that, I will put it up later, but I do have them prepped and in my freezer and I use them as I go. This is a lot of squash. Squash has a lot of carbohydrate, just so you know, but these are not very high in glycemic index carbohydrate, so they are okay. Other ingredients not out here include carrots, and I will get them out, salt, and black pepper or peppercorn, whatever you have. So those will be added as I start the meal making. So let's talk a little bit more about inflammation. Acute inflammation is okay. That's how your body heals and fights off diseases and heals itself. The problem is when it becomes chronic. Chronically, your body is in a battle state, inflamed. That's the problem. So we start by putting some olive oil in the pot, and then put in the onions, some of the sweet potatoes I put at this stage. You could also put in your garlic at this stage, but I forgot, and so I will put it in later. I just like to a little bit smoke, fry it a little bit in the oil to get the oils and the scents out, and then I'll go ahead and add all the butternut squash and cook it a little bit in the olive oil before we proceed. The broth I made here is actually a chicken broth. You could make this with vegetable broth, whatever kind of broth. That broth was already made and in my freezer until I was ready to use it. So here I am adding that garlic. So now we have the garlic, the butternut squash, the sweet potatoes, the onions, and I will just cook them a bit. I also told you I would be adding some curry powder. So I go ahead and I add the curry powder. This is just what I have. I have different kinds of curry powder. This is just what I have today. I let it cook a little bit, again, mixing everything together. I let them cook. And at this time, I actually have my oven on at 350, heating up, warming up, because eventually I want to put some vegetables in there. So here go the rest of the vegetables with my extra virgin olive oil. Note how my olive oil says cold pressed. That's what I was talking about with the oils, is the kind that you want. And I just put a little bit on the vegetables so that I can put them in to roast them in the oven. I do not want to roast them in high heat. I don't want to over roast them either. Just a little bit of roasting. So there it goes in the oven at 350, and it was in there for maybe about 15 minutes. That's what it was in there for. So I go ahead at this point and add my turmeric and garlic. I showed you these in the bags. They were in the freezer and I brought them out, and I usually would take a piece as much as I need. Turmeric and ginger are very, very good. I also add my black peppercorn is what I have. Turmeric and ginger you can actually add to your tea when you make tea. Here go the carrot and the cauliflower. I talked about these carrots. This is the one I have. It is a shredded carrots, organic shredded carrots that we use for salad. I didn't have the big, the whole carrots today, so this is what I decided to use. every single thing in this pot is gonna be crushed anyway when I make the soup, so I didn't mind what they kind of looked like. Here go the broth that I was talking about, the chicken broth that I had on hand. So this is about 3 cups of broth. You can add additional water if you want to. I think if eventually I added about 1 more cup of water to this, bringing it all to 4 cups of liquid to cook it. Now, the cooking time that I used is just, I let it cook until the vegetables are soft. It was about 15 to 20 minutes. So I put half a teaspoon of salt. Now, that depends on how salty your broth is. If your broth is very salty, then you might not even need this. But my broth didn't have that much salt. After about 15 minutes, I turned off the heat and proceed to blend the vegetables and the broth. I added my lemon at this point. After blending, I poured them back in the clean pot and set the heat to a very low heat and let it start cooking just to have the taste marinate, because at this point I'm about to add those vegetables that I had in the oven, my chickpeas and the sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes weren't completely cooked, but I knew I was going to finish the cooking process in the pot, but the chickpeas was a very, very good texture. So here it is. We're all done. It looks a little thick. You can add more water if you want it, but this is what the final product looks like. It was yummy. It felt healthy. It was filling. You didn't even need anything else to go with this. I put a little bit of coconut flakes, unsweetened organic coconut, and it added more flavor to it. So that is it. You can recreate this at home. You can play with it, use different ingredients, but read your labels, please. Your oil labels, read the ingredients that you're using. Are they good for your body? That will be all for today. Thank you for coming back to this one with me. Thank you for returning to my channel. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. Bye.